When I was a kid, Chuck E. Cheese was one of my favorite places to visit. I would go there a lot and have a great time. I always remember the games, the food, and even the animatronics. But a couple years ago now, Chuck E. Cheese announced that they are getting rid of all their animatronics in favor of a new modern look with just a dance floor. So what I want to do in this video is go to a Chuck E. Cheese location that still has them and document it on video. There's some locations that still have them, one of them being this location right here. This location of Chuck E. Cheese has not changed anything for a good while now. The biggest one being the animatronics in the back, but there's also a couple stuff on the wall that I can show you guys as well. Right from the front of the building, you can see that it still has the original Chuck E. Cheese logo. I mean, it's not the original one from like way back when they opened, but it's the older one from when I used to go to Chuck E. Cheese. This building somehow hasn't changed yet. Maybe it will probably this year or next year, but as of right now, it's still old. So I'm gonna go in there and check it out, even though I kind of already did for a video, but that was mostly us just messing around. This time I'll actually show you the things they have on the walls and stuff like that. So what you're currently looking at is a Chuck E. Cheese 2 stage. That means that Chuck E. Cheese is separate from the rest of the band, because if they were all in one, that would be called a 1 stage. This lasted a good amount of time until the late 90s when Chuck E. Cheese introduced Studio C. This is probably the most common stage you'll see, and I even remember this one as a kid as well. So what makes the one I'm looking at today interesting is that it's just older. Right here you got the man himself, Chuck E. Cheese. For some reason, I never really got scared of these things as a kid. I know a lot of kids did. Actually, in my video, it's pretty funny. You can see a kid in the background in this location get scared by, I guess, Chuck E. Cheese. I'll play the clip now. It's my own like thing. They don't do like thing. They don't. I didn't even notice that while editing, but some kid actually got scared by one of these. I never did for some reason. I guess I'm just too cool. I don't know. So Chuck E. Cheese is over there in the corner. I'm sorry if this is like loud, but nothing I can really do. I don't remember the rest of the people's names. I'm gonna have to like look it up. I don't even remember. I used to just call that one a chicken, purple guy, dog, and chef. This chicken slash duck person, she's called Helen. I didn't even know that at all. Then you got probably my second favorite guy next to Chuck E. Cheese. His name is Mr. Munch. I guess it says it right back there. It says Munch's Make Believe Band. That's like the official name of this band, and I didn't even know that either. Then you have the dog. I kind of knew Mr. Munch a little bit, but his name is Jasper. I couldn't even tell you one kid that knew his name, but there you go. He actually has a name, Jasper the dog. And then this guy on the end, the chef, his name is Pasquale, and his name is actually back there as well. You can see it right there. I never even noticed that. And his drumsticks are shoved in his hands. Look at that. No wonder why he's making that face. It probably hurts. Yeah, these things are creepy. Actually, never mind what I said. Pizza. Now this is pretty interesting. If you look up here on the top where the curtain is, there's this thing here. Now most people would just look at that and never look at it again. That's what I did as a kid, but apparently I found out that thing actually does wink after they perform. Now I'm not sure if it works or not, but all I know is that it did at some point. I am curious, so I'm gonna wait until they're done and see if this thing does anything up here. I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't, but we might as well take a look. Well, there's your answer. It worked. Obviously, another thing this band is known for is always breaking down. I'm not sure when this location is going to get rid of them, but they look in pretty good shape as of right now. I was here not too long ago, and this guy right here, his one eye was broken, so it was just like constantly down, and it made it even creepier looking. But they seem to fix it, so. And as I say that, now both of his eyes are closed, but they were open before. At least I think. I don't know. He might be asleep right now. I'm actually curious if they plan on getting rid of these anytime soon. I'm going to ask and see, like, when do they think these are going to go, because at some point, they are. So I just talked to the manager about what's happening with these animatronics, and what I was told was that they don't have any plans on getting rid of them anytime soon because this location's so small. So putting in the dance floor and stuff like that would just take up more room than just leaving them here. So Chuck E. Cheese is just staring at me right now. Oh, he looked away just when I said that. So obviously I've been talking about this. This is the main thing that's still owed is the animatronics, but there's still a couple other things on the walls and stuff I'll go over now. So they still have all these original photos, which is pretty cool. Like this one right here says Friends. You got the two people there and then the old Chuck E. Cheese design, and they even have the copyright in the corner. This was made in 2005. That's how long I guess this has been here. And then there's a bunch of other ones. You got Laughs, Winning, and Smiles. I like that, Winning with the tickets, but they don't even have that anymore. These are pretty classic. I actually remember these as a kid. It's his face 4 times, but it's different colors. And I've been talking about stuff on the wall, but even these, if they ever remodel this building, all of these booths will get remodeled as well. They'll no longer have this classic color scheme with the red and then the turquoise side. side. Chuck E. Cheese is going for that more like modern look now, so I guess these will go away with that. Here's some other random pictures. You got family and celebration. There's the new Chuck E. Cheese right there. And would you look at that, they still have the original signs on the bathroom. And then of course I got a bunch of other pictures of just Chuck E. Cheese doing random things, like this one right here. I actually remember this one as a kid. I never bought ice cream from it, but this one's a classic. You got Chuck E. Cheese right there, chill out, select your ice cream, and then this thing goes in and gets it. You can see him back there as well. Now this machine right here was one of my favorites of all time. I took so many pictures in this photo booth. Not this exact one, but one exactly like this. It's still the original one too, so it looked just like this one does now. You got the old Chuck E. Cheese right there, along with Helen and Jasper. Now I know their names, so I can say it. So basically what you would do is you would just sit there, and then it would take your picture. Chuck E. Cheese would draw it up and print it out. I did that maybe 100 times every time I came here. This was probably one of my favorite machines at Chuck E. Cheese. This one's one of my favorites as well, because it says Titan of Tokens. They don't even have tokens anymore, but they still got the picture of it right there. And then up there, you got the classic Chuck E. Cheese tickets that used to print out of the games, and it just says everyone's a winner with his face on it. They have a couple of these on the walls around the building. Now, this machine they always had, but obviously it was the older looking Chuck E. Cheese. I have a couple pictures of this when I was a kid as well. Also, I just noticed this. It's kind of like the old Chuck E. Cheese logo on the outside of the building, but with the new Chuck E. Cheese face. I wonder if they had an idea to update it to this, and then they changed it completely, but who knows? There you go. Also, from looking at photos online, this location did actually have a playground. It was like up in the air right here. I'm not really sure exactly where. I don't even remember. All I saw in photos is that it did have it. Apparently, like the entrance was right there, and the slide would come over here and down somewhere. It almost looks like it wouldn't even have it because it's such a small location, but it actually did at some point. But of course, that is gone now. So obviously, they got a couple new machines, and that's great and all, but I'm here to look at the old ones, and here's an original one right here. So you got Chuck E. Cheese on the side, and then you would press the button, and I guess the balloon would pop or something. I do remember playing it. I'm not quite sure how it played, though. I haven't played it in like years. So there he is in the back as well, and you can see me. And then on the bottom here, you got him blowing up a balloon and going crazy. I kind of like the look of this machine. It's just old and nostalgic, at least for me. You got the classic Chuck E. Cheese All-Star Hoops. This is where you would play basketball, of course. You got Chuck E. Cheese right there, about to make a dunk. And then you got the same image right there on the bottom. On the wall behind the skee ball, they got 3 tokens right there. That's basically what they looked like. You would put those in the machine and you'd be able to play the game. And just to give you an idea of the building, you got the animatronics right there in the back. And then just on the other side, you got all the games in the arcade section. This is pretty interesting though. I never really seen anything like this. Usually for the ticket blaster, it's right next to the animatronics and stuff in that section, but they actually have like a seat over there in the corner. So it's in the arcade room itself, which I guess it makes sense, but I just never seen a lot of that. I always like to come to places like this and document it because you never know when they're going to get rid of it. If they ever do get rid of it, I have it on video now. Here they are. I remember these from my childhood that soon will be forgotten by many kids.
Do that again.
Wait, what do you mean, this?
Far.
That's it. Oh, that's what